Hello and welcome to Ichepo Kuyan's The Place to Be Reviews. I am Ichepo Kuyan himself, Pete, if you will. Now, we're very close to getting the reveal of Marvel's Phase 4 lineup. What films we'll be getting between 2020 and 2022. We're going to go over this article. WeGotThisCovered.com. Kevin Feige says Marvel's almost ready to reveal Phase 4 of the MCU. Now, we're going to cover this article first, and then we're going to go through some leaks that I found just through searching online through the Roger Wardell Twitter account and some other things like that. So let's start this out. This is by Sean Yoshi. I'm sure I butchered that name. Now that Avengers Endgame has essentially disappeared from the spotlight, despite a brand new cut hitting theaters next week, Marvel fans are now desperate to know what's coming down the pipeline after the deaths of a few key characters, not to mention one power-hungry villain. Things are going to look a lot different moving forward. Spider-Man Far From Home has already teased the introduction of the multiverse, along with a few new baddies, and for some time, fans have been aware that the new Black Panther, Doctor Strange, and Guardians of the Galaxy movies are in the works, among others. Now, I have some numbers on those films we're going to be talking about later as we get to the Phase 4 predicted slate once we're finished with this article. Earlier this year, Disney CEO Bob Iger teased that Marvel Studios was preparing their own announcement on what the future holds for the MCU, and a few rumors indicate the House of Mouse has 8 films or so planned for release between 2020 and 2022. Thank you very much. Thankfully, it doesn't look like we'll have to wait too much longer to see what's in store for moviegoers throughout the globe. Yeah, July, it's San Diego Comic-Con. They'll be releasing that information on what films are slated and when they'll be released. We know a couple already. One absolutely confirmed and is shooting now. There's a nice picture of Cap from Infinity War. That doesn't give me a strike. During a press junket for Spider-Man Far From Home, comicbook.com had the chance to sit down with Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige, who shared a bit of information regarding Phase 4 of the MCU. It seems that the company has been waiting for both Endgame and the new Spidey film to hit theaters before they share any information with the world. Given that Far From Home is releasing in a few weeks, there's a good chance we'll hear more concrete news in the near future. Spider-Man got bumped up to July 2nd, so I should be able to see that before I go on vacation. Clearly, as I've said, for the better part of a year or two, we're waiting for Endgame and Far From Home to come out before we talk about what's next officially, said Feige. We're almost there. Far From Home is almost out, but all will be revealed. Marvel Studios is returning to Hall H of San Diego Comic-Con next month, and considering the D23 Expo scheduled for August, we're fairly certain that an official announcement will be made during one of those events. Either way, we'll be sure to keep you updated as soon as information makes its way down the pipeline. Okay, so as we kind of just scroll back up here to the title, I don't know. I'm trying to stay cautiously optimistic with where Marvel is going with these films. So I don't know, in the whole direction of the MCU. So what I want to kind of break down in detail right now are the rumors that have been floating around, mostly stemming from the Roger Wardell account on Twitter, as well as some leaks from Reddit and 4chan as well. First, I would like to list the films that are either rumored or confirmed for Phase 4. Then I will go into detail about information that has supposedly been leaked. A pair of villains who are rumored to be opposing the heroes in the MCU in Phase 4, with one of them rumored to be entering the MCU in its final outing, Spider-Man Far From Home, in a post-credits scene. And I'm sure a lot of you have already have some educated guesses about who that villain is. I think it's cool, especially with the rumored casting, but we'll get to that. So the first confirmed and only truly confirmed, well, I guess there's two that are confirmed. One that's shooting, Black Widow, the prequel origin story. Yelena Belova will be the main antagonist, played by Florence Pugh, opposing ScarJo's Black Widow character. So yeah, Natalia Romanoff. It'll be. I'm looking forward to that one. That's a movie we should have had a while ago. Number two, The Eternals. This has pretty well been confirmed. Angelina Jolie will be in one of the main roles, and will push the MCU further into the cosmic side of the MCU. Richard Madden is rumored to be under consideration to portray Icarus, the group's leader. I don't really know too much about the Eternals, so. And this next one, either number three, Shang-Chi, mystical martial artist. Excuse me. It's around 1 o'clock in the morning, and I just finished the podcast, which we kind of went into detail about one of these villains, because my co-host Monica knows more about the comic side of this than I do, so I kind of lean on her and try to glean that knowledge from her, what I don't get in my individual research. So Shang-Chi, mystical martial artist. I don't know why I'm problems with that word tonight. The Mandarin is rumored to be his father, tying it loosely back to Iron Man 3, and let's hope we get a better version of the Mandarin this time around. I didn't like that about Iron Man 3. Iron Man 3 got a lot of heat. I still enjoyed it. Not the best one. We still have villains like Justin Hammer floating around too. So, and that name's popped up a couple times. Okay, so number four, Guardians of the Galaxy. This is a no-brainer. This is confirmed. Thor will be a member of the crew. The story centers around their search from Gamora. This is directly from a Roger Wardell tweet. Rumors are that Beta Ray Bill will appear, setting up the Asgardians of the Galaxy. Also, Rocket's creator is the High Evolutionary, also the main antagonist. Drax is in for a big surprise when he discovers his daughter is alive. Rocket also gets a love interest in the form of Lila. Nebula and Star-Lord grow into closer friends. Zac Efron is rumored to be cast as Adam Warlock, which Warlock was one of the movies that was rumored to be in the works. But you can't tell what's just a lot of it's fan-made stuff. So Warlock was teased in the post-credit scene of Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Excuse me. And Gamora's reintroduction will introduce the idea of alternate realities and timelines. Oh yeah, there's a spoiler alert if you don't want to hear any of these potential spoilers. So Guardians of the Galaxy, that franchise has made a lot of money. The first one was $773,328,629. That's worldwide. All my totals on these box offices now are worldwide. Doctor Strange is number 5. And given Doctor Strange, this is one thing I do know, because I did go back and read some of the Carol Danvers Miss Marvel years, because I actually liked the way the character looked, was written, and drawn in those. And she had a kind of a thing with Doctor Strange. He was featured in some of the comics. That was after the House of M storyline. Doctor Strange 2 centers around the struggle between Strange and Mordo, also rumored to appear as Lord Nightmare, who will try to play Mordo and Strange against one another. And Strange is set up to become one of the anchors of the MCU, and this will lead him to possibly teaming up with the remaining Avengers at the end of the film. Doctor Strange, the first installment of this series, was $677,718,395 worldwide. Benedict Cumberbatch was great in that movie. I've seen Doctor Strange probably one of the MCU movies I haven't seen as many times as a few others. I've only seen Doctor Strange probably about 3 or 4 times. It's a good movie. I like it. I enjoyed it. I was kind of wondering if they have any plans moving forward with Dormammu, given that he has not been vanquished. And, only been appeased for the moment. So it's kind of one of the questions I had. I hate yawning these videos, but it's like it's 1 o'clock in the morning and I'm really trying here. But I wanted to get this out today. Or tomorrow as it is now, or in the future if you're watching this. In the past, I was working very hard on this. I literally, So yeah, we'll talk about that later. Number 6 is Black Panther 2, which is a layup. Michael B. Jordan will be reprising the role of Killmonger, albeit on the spiritual plane. The film centers around Wakanda introducing their technology to the world, and this may have massive negative effects as it will more than likely be procured by one of the main antagonists of the film. Now, the first Black Panther movie by Ryan Coogler, written and directed, he signed on for the second one. That was $1 billion with a B, $346,913,161, and that came out directly before Endgame, during Black History Month. And I say that just because it was marketed honestly pretty brilliantly. The film has its flaws. I still put it in my top 5 MCU films, and Monica and I were discussing this in the podcast because 2 viewings of Endgame and having the chance to look back on it now, I might move Endgame down my list just slightly. Not sure yet. I don't want to start moving my top 5 around. The number 1 spot, Winter Soldier, is cemented. That's not going anywhere. But Infinity War is number 2. That one's staying there too. So there's flex room at the bottom. Okay, so we are on to number 7. Captain Meh 2. Captain Mehville made. Disney put their own money to the tune of $1,128,000. $1,128,033,409. Not all of that obviously was Disney padding their own pockets, but a large portion of that was. And one of the villains that is rumored to be introduced will be introduced in Captain Meh 2. If you heard the podcast, you already know the name. If not, you're going to have to wait a few because we are working down the list to get to that right now. So let's go to the number 8 spot on the list, Thor 4. This will apparently center around his adventures with Beta Ray Bill after he is introduced in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So Thor 4. Let's talk box office now. The first Thor was $449,326,618. Thor 2: The Dark World, $644,571,402. And Thor Ragnarok, $853,977,126. And I get mixed reactions with Thor Ragnarok from people. I love the movie myself. It's my favorite Thor movie. I like Thor 1. Thor 2: The Dark World, another one that it's kind of like if it's on, I'll watch it, but not one that if I could pick any MCU movie that I would really sit down and be like, I'm going to watch Thor: The Dark World. Just not my thing. But all pretty respectable box office totals. If you go down the list here, though, Thor, the first Thor movie is the lowest total thus far for a opening. I have to let somebody out here. A entry into the MCU. But still, like they steady climbed. Almost 200 million between Thor and Thor: The Dark World, and then just a shade over $200 million difference in between the worldwide total and worldwide of Ragnarok in The Dark World. So in Ragnarok, obviously, I said 853,977,126. Number 9. Now, 9 was on the list initially. With that being said, Ant-Man has. This was an article I covered in a video a couple days ago. Ant-Man has apparently been shelved indefinitely in solo films. So we're going to have to wait, apparently, to see if we ever get Part 3, the conclusion of Scott Lang's full journey, if you will. There was a couple different leaks, and I wasn't, like I said, these two will be, or at least Scott Lang will be appearing in other people's movies and cameos. So which means we're not going to get the his little circle of friends anymore, which is more disappointing than anything else because they're hilarious. Those movies were light, they were fun, but you could still tell they were an MCU movie. Ant-Man, worldwide total $519,311,965. Ant-Man and the Wasp, a little over $100 million jump. That's $622,674,139. And number 10 spot on the list is Spider-Man 3, with Far From Home coming out in a couple weeks. So we'll hear if there's going to be another Spidey entry into the MCU, or what's going to happen with the Sony deal, because there's definitely been talks of Sony them wanting Venom in the MCU, and they did tease Carnage, in the post-credit scene of Venom. So I'm really anxious to. I'm not going to lie, I want Venom in the MCU. I just want him treated properly. I thought his movie was great. One of the few roles that I've actually enjoyed Tom Hardy in. So that is the confirmed and rumored films with some box office history from their predecessors. And a lot of that will gauge what a franchise will do moving forward. And that's the thing with Ant-Man. I don't see that as a financial loss, but they have this whole thing where they want Kamala Khan and Squirrel Girl, and I'm sure America Chavez, characters nobody cares about. So some other rumored films were the Thunderbolts, the Fantastic Four, which has loosely been confirmed for 2022, which would be Phase 5, one of the first films in Phase 5 probably. And some of the cast for that has been rumored to be John Krasinski as, I think it's Mr. Fantastic. Sue Storm would be his wife, Emily Blunt. So I'm good with that, with those two. I like both of them. So a new Young and Dark Avengers scripts are all in, various stages of development. And a full script has been commissioned for the Dark Avengers. So this just goes to show you they're going to have different groups of the Avengers probably moving forward down the line, because we lost some characters, so they have to reorganize some things. So there's just some of the other films. I would really, really love a standalone solo Doctor Doom movie. One of the ideas that I had, and I spoke with Adam from Raiders of the Lost Flicks about this, was we'll get into Disney. We'll use this as a segue into the Disney Plus streaming shows. The Thunderbolts. Say the Falcon and Winter Soldier spend all season catching all the Thunderbolts, locking them away. And then the end of the episode, boom, big hole blows inside the prison. In comes Doctor Doom, frees the Thunderbolts. Solo Doctor Doom movie. And you could work out your protagonist from there. So Disney Plus streaming shows. The announced and confirmed shows, WandaVision, Loki, Falcon, and Winter Soldier will all play heavily into the MCU. So just because these are on the streaming service doesn't mean these characters won't be in the MCU. And be interacting with the movies. I've seen multiple stories rumoring a Hawkeye show on Disney Plus as well. Here's the rumored breakdown of each show from Reddit. Hawkeye. Hawkeye has to come out of retirement again when troublemaker Kate Bishop begins running around claiming to be the new Hawkeye, gets into trouble with the mob, ends up training her to take his place. Supernatural mobster the Hood and Hawkeye's evil brother Trickshot might appear. Okay, so Falcon and Winter Soldier. Falcon and Bucky have to work together with the new government-sanctioned Captain America to stop terrorists from destroying the United Nations. They should just let it blow up. New Cap eventually goes psycho and they have to stop him. Seems like it'll lead to Sam becoming the new Cap after all. And I assume that's what was going to happen anyway, and I'm perfectly fine with that. WandaVision. Don't like the title. Vision gets rebuilt. Wanda tries to give him a soul, and instead, he gets possessed by a dark force. Don't. Allegedly, it's more of a psychological thriller with a 1950s aesthetic. Wanda and Vision end up living in the suburbs, where the neighborhood is racist against Wanda's robosexuality. The witch Agatha Harkness might appear, and Loki, an anthology chronicling how Loki shaped human historical events. All right, so next we go over to the saga and story arcs. There won't be another Infinity Saga, but there will be several mini arcs spanning 3 to 6 films, which will free up space to introduce some big names, aka the aforementioned Doctor Doom. Now let's go with what rumored villains will appear in Phase 4. On Earth, because we're going to have an Earth and a cosmic levels to the MCU. Norman Osborn, main ground level villain across the MCU in Phase 4, and slated to make his appearance in Spider-Man Far From Home in a post-credit scene. Osborn is rumored to be portrayed by The Walking Dead alumnus David Morrissey, aka the Governor, and his history with Spidey is self-explanatory. Osborn is rumored to be the purchaser of the New York Avengers Tower, which is vacated after they moved upstate to the new facility. So this opens the door for Osborn and Oscorp to purchase the property. Osborn will be to the villains what Tony Stark was to the Avengers, arming them with weapons and technology. Given that Osborn has been done before, Marvel is working very hard to make him a threat. And while it's likely we'll see his goblin alter ego, it's important to know that Norman will be using his political and economical power to exude control over people. Also rumored that his arc will pull heavily from Dark Reign and potentially his run with the Thunderbolts. There. Now, the cosmic side of things, we mentioned in the podcast Michael Korvac, aka the Enemy, cosmic threat, rumored to be entering the MCU concurrently with Osborn. Ground level, cosmic level. Korvac is a computer technician in an alternate universe's future who betrays the human race and is punished for sleeping on the job by aliens called the Badoon by turning him into a cyborg. Allegedly, Korvac will be introduced in Captain Marvel 2 before becoming a larger cosmic threat to the franchise superheroes. The Redditor Marvel Scoopmaster wrote, Korvac and Osborn could play into the 5th Avengers film, but how isn't exactly known. He is a dimension-hopping villain from the comic books who is imbued with godlike powers. After learning to use the power cosmic, Korvac heads to Earth with the intention of reshaping it into a utopia, and we all know how that goes. So what do you guys think of the 2 villains that are rumored for Phase 4? I think I like a ground level and a cosmic villain as well. It kind of helps you keep your world separated for a little while, clean things up. Individual actor news, we have a couple Chris's. Hemsworth renewed his contract for several more Marvel movies and is expected to be appearing in both Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and Thor 4. Chris Pratt also has several movies left in his contract and is expected to continue even though Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is intended to be the team's final appearance in the MCU. Well, there you have it, folks. Those are some Phase 4 rumors for the MCU. What do you think? Let me know in the comments section below. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and hit that bell. Turn notifications on. You can find me on Twitter at The Place to Be RE1, Instagram, The Place to Be Reviews, on Facebook, The Place to Be Reviews. Do you see a pattern here? You can email me at mail.com. My address is the place to be reviews at mail.com. So check us out. We're doing a episode of the Fancast Friday night from 8:30 until 10:30, and Saturday night we'll be over at Raiders of Lost Flicks for his Mac and Me watch party for a 200 subscriber celebration. Until then, I am your host, Pete, saying have an excellent night, or as I like to say, good morning. So that's it. We're done.